Okay guys, I bit the bullet. I figured while it's free on Netflix, because my parents pay for my Netflix, I'll go ahead and watch Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Sounds like a Christmas film, it isn't. Came out around Christmas to fleece the Christians of their money. Anyways, it's directed by this guy, Gareth Edwards, who had some kind of committee that put this movie forward, because let's face it, no one actually directs this stuff. Okay, so this one, before it came out, there was this buzz about how they had to edit it down, they had panic. Studio said, this is way too un-Star Wars-like. But then ultimately, everybody loved it. Yo, you gotta watch this, Vaughn. Okay, fine, I watched it, and guess what? It was thoroughly mediocre. This was as mediocre as a Star Wars movie can possibly be. Okay, so this takes place, do we want to say like 20 years? Or maybe shortly thereafter, Episode 3. There's this little girl. Her dad is played by cries blood red tears from Casino Royale. They're on some planet. Evil Empire guys are looking for him. They're going to take him hostage. I guess there was some kind of love triangle between him and his wife. And this guy, shit, this is a few weeks ago I watched this. What was this guy's name? I think the actor's name is Ben Mendelsohn. I could be wrong, but I'm going to call him Mendelsohn from here forward. They're like Commander Mendelsohn. He has her shot on accident. Oh, she tried to run away. Our daughter's not going. Oh, now you have a daughter. Okay, cool. I'll go look for her. Take the dad capture. Girl runs off, hides under some rock. It was prearranged that Forrest Whitaker would come rescue her, and he does. Fast forward, I think it was 20 years later, did it say? This is right at the doorstep of Episode 4, A New Hope, what I like to call Star Wars. Simply Star Wars, by the way. Okay, so this gal's captured and she's getting rescued. She tries to run away during this rescue attempt, and this robot's like, hey, don't run off, you're being rescued, whatever. She's taken to the Rebel base, the one that we saw at the end of Star Wars in 1977. Is her name Mon Martha? She's replaced by this chick who voices Mora, who also I can't pronounce in Overwatch. And she's, I guess, the rebel leader. Honestly, I don't really know the composition of the rebel forces here. So, she's basically saying, hey, we have this plan. There's word of a special armament being made or something. This Death Star thing. We need you to get in touch with your dad, who is the designer of it. Well, I didn't know he's still alive or something, right? Well, we think he'll cooperate if we bring her along. We have to get to this rebel, Forrest Whitaker. He's rebelling against the rebels even. He's so rebel-y. And he trained you or raised you or something, so we have to bring you along. He'll take part in our plan if you do that. Plan for him, I don't know. He didn't do anything the whole movie. Forrest Whitaker needs to learn how to say no to a role. Because he's a very good actor who ends up just kind of showing up in places, being like, hey, you kind of remember me, right? I'm like, you have an Oscar. Like, can you do something in a movie? Like, what is this? So they put together this little squad. You got like Prince Caspian, or what? Some guy's name here. I'm trying to run away from people. Yeah, he's like, it's my ship. That's my android. I think Alan Tudyk is the voice of the android, because that's kind of his thing. And everybody likes the android. I don't remember his name, but he was like is he reprogrammed or had his mind change of opinion, I guess, from the Empire droids? I don't remember, but yeah, they're going to go to this place, and it plays like Knoll. Like everybody they bounce into joins them, and eventually is sacrificed, all for the sake of this chick to accomplish her mission. And so it's incredibly predictable because look, all these future Star Wars movies make Episode 1 look brilliant. Episode 1 takes place so far in the past that there are surprises. When you get to this one and it's like biting up there right to the beginning of Star Wars. You know how everything has to be resolved. So there's no surprises. We filled in so many gaps. You'd have to be brain damaged to really be shocked by any of this shit. So there's so much goddamn planet hopping in this. This movie is easily 30 minutes too long. I'm going to get into more of that later. They go to this place, Jeddah. By the way, Prince Caspian has shown that he will betray somebody. Oh, he accidentally, like, some guy's arm broke. Oh, I can't run off. I can't fight. My arm's broken. Oh, okay. Boom, kills him. So you know this guy will sell out anybody for the cause, or him save his own hide. Right? Wrong. So they go to this place, Jeddah, and this is where actually, you know what? Before they even get there, we have a Jimmy Smits appearance. Now, I actually like this. Jimmy Smits making an appearance at the round table. I'm like, hey, this is a big deal because it's telling me that the prequels are not forgotten. Because this is a character from the prequels. He's Princess Leia's adopted dad. Is his name Bail Organa? If that's right, I can't believe I remember. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this is a big deal now. That's actually surprised me that Disney is acknowledging the prequels, because it looked like they were trying hard not to. I mean, that goes down. We have another little Easter egg on Jeddah, where there's some Last Jedi temple, something called Kaber. These are the crystals that are made to power the lightsabers, but a whole bunch of them. That's the power source of the Death Star. Did we need to know this? Not exactly. So, she's walking around this place. The guy said, hey, you be careful. Or you watch where you're going, you know, like in the canteen on Tatooine. Him and his bros there, like, I realized they could logistically get to Tatooine in a day, but does Star Wars really need to be made that small of a universe? Like, is the galaxy just like driving to Walmart? Shit. Yeah, they get in a fight with some guys, kind of get rescued by these Asians who are like quasi wannabe Jedi fanboys who may or may not have force awareness power. Shit. Blind guy can kick ass because he knows kung fu in a galaxy far, far away. God, shit. Yeah, so he's the guy who plays Ip Man in that trilogy, right? He's also in a Highlander movie. Died real quick. Anyhow, they pick those guys up. They go see Forrest Whitaker. Commander Mendelsohn is being ordered by Tarkin. Is it Grand Moff Tarkin at this point? Like, the thing that bothered me about this is that the CGI throughout this movie looks really good. Cinematography for a modern film looks pretty good. As good as modern films typically look. Now, none of them look as good as, say, Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. That's because we've gotten into digital color correction and everything looks bad in that regard. But then we get to Tarkin's appearance, brought to you courtesy of the PlayStation 3. I just didn't really believe the CGI in this character. I didn't really think it was necessary. And to have so many roles and everything, I mean, or so many lines, it's a little troublesome. So they're told, hey, we're gonna do a small test of the Death Star, because we have a big test later. Let's just blow up the city. They blow up this Jeddah place. The blast is getting out further, and Forrest Whitaker's like, this is where I leave the movie. Bye. Everybody else that's alive, along with the Asians, they get aboard whatever their ship's called, and which is named later Rogue One, and that's where we get the name of the movie, because they lied about clearance to go fight. But at some point, it's like we have to go bother Darth Vader. He's on his volcano planet. You want to see Darth Vader's volcano bungalow? Everybody's clamoring for that, right? Nope. So then Darth Vader gives him orders that were assumed, and this entire scene could have been cut from the movie, and have made Darth Vader's appearance at the very end all the more impactful, but what do I know? You know, I'm just some stay-at-home son who lives in Kansas. I'm not allowed to make movies. So, at another point, they're given some orders to go to the planet where Jyn Erso, whatever the main chick's character's name, her dad is at. And he's over there, and Mendelsohn says, hey, guess what? We tested your device and it works. By the way, one of you sold south, there's some information going around, blah, blah, blah. Here, we're killing all the old guys that worked on it. And then the rebels strike the place, and at some point their ships crash land and they get a new ship. No, they named the new ship they borrowed Rogue One, I think. Yeah. I don't know how they even stole this thing. The fight that broke out didn't even make sense because Prince Caspian has a Casino Royale in his sights with a sniper blaster, and he completely chickens out for no reason. This isn't the chick that he might have feelings for. This is her evil dad in his mind, right? What the whole point of his guy blasting his pal supposed to be that he takes the shot? And he's already backtracked this? Shit. Hey, who writes this crap? Okay, so Casino Royale dies in an explosion. Main chick is upset, but they want to finish the fight even though it's kind of against orders. They want to go to the place where the Death Star's plants are located because their dad said there was while he's dying, that there was a reactor buried deep in it and it could blow up, chain reaction, whatever. I honestly don't even know where they got the idea to go to a specific planet that had a beach and some kind of antenna, and that's the archive. I don't know where they heard that. I rewound and couldn't even pick that up. So they head over there against orders under the name Rogue One, and because they're involved in this, everybody else has to get involved. We have a C-3PO, R2-D2 cameo at the Rebel base, even though it would have been more pertinent for them to be on Leia's ship that is shown at the very end of the movie. You know, but what do I know? I'm not saying they couldn't have possibly gotten up there, but it just would have been a better place for it. Anyhow, there is a force field that is not unlike the one in Spaceballs. And they got this thing opened up. They go down inside. They climb in. They're getting, oh shit. They're messing with the library settings, whatever. All their buddies are getting killed off. The droid gets sacrificed. The Asians are getting killed. Anybody that came with them is getting sacrificed on the beach. They eventually steal the thing, and then they climb to the top of the tower. Prince Caspian falls, but maybe he's not dead. Jyn Erso it fights Commander Mendelsohn, who's got a really snazzy outfit. Seems to defeat him, or with some luck and some explosion, they run away from where he's at, and they head down the antenna after transmitting this thing. But that didn't even make sense, because it's like they had to get some they had to radio on the beach that the rebels need to blow up the thing stopping the force field, which they were working on the whole time during the fight. They were trying to take out that force field. Oh, but now you radio them and now they know that they need to do that? Bullshit. And then once they do, they get the bigger antenna can penetrate the force. Then how does the radio signal get out there? If this big beacon thing can't transmit via Bluetooth 3.0 or whatever to the Rebel cruiser, the planes that destroyed the Death Star, how can the radio just get shit? What do I know? So they get the plans out there and they're daisy chaining this along. Hey, download that now, carry this over here. Darth Vader shows up with his Star Destroyer. And he's cutting fools up, and as they're getting cut up, they're like, here, pass this through the door, Ryan, get on another ship. The Death Star is brought in to do another test, blows up the beachfront property, and with that, everybody's getting blown up. Commander Mendelsohn, the two almost young lovers head to the beach and talk about how proud her dad would have been of her, and they get blown up in tidal wave explosions and water and shit. Darth Vader's making his way through the place, but the ship kind of breaks away, and it didn't even look like a escape pod, really. But it's Leia's ship, and they bring some plans to Princess Leia. She turns around, she's like, it's Hope. They keep saying Hope throughout this movie, because we want to make that go with A New Hope, so it's like we had this all planned out, except we didn't. And that's the way this stuff goes down, people. They feint this plan to make you think that this was all part of the plan, but it's like we made up so much shit. We can try to trick you into thinking it was always intended this way. Generations later, people are going to be like, yeah, it all makes sense. It must have been George Lucas's vision from the start. That last shot with Princess Leia, that would have been the point where you have R2-D2 to C-3PO, maybe just in the room with her. And actually, Princess Leia looked better. I'm thinking that they maybe repurposed some photos of her, some footage, maybe put it on another body, and overall it looked more convincing than full CGI Tarkin. Oh Jesus Christ. That ain't gonna age well. Lucasfilm people are gonna be dusting that up with each impending release, I swear to God. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, thoroughly mediocre, incredibly predictable. It's what you get when you spend a ton of money on a Star Wars movie. 2.5 out of 4 stars.